Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Cosmic Metamorphosis. Today is November 15th of 2021. My name is Today I wanted to talk about my experiences with paranormal activity, orbs and elementals. I did this video last week, and for some reason, my computer just has a mind of its own, and it decided that my file was too big, and I couldn't get it downloaded to BitChute or YouTube, so I'm redoing it. So anyway, I wanted to start off by seeing if anyone else was feeling the way I've been feeling lately, because probably the last few weeks, I've just been really having to push myself to get anything done, to get any chores done. It's kind of like I'm out of my body, like I'm not really in my body, and I know I have to get things done. And I'll go through my day, and I'll realize towards the end of the day, I'm like, I actually got that done today. Wow. Like I'm not even paying attention. I'm literally just on autopilot. So I don't know if anyone else is feeling like that. There are days that I just don't want to get out of bed because I'm not tired, but I just want to lay there and do nothing. So there's a lot going on right now, of course, in the world, and hopefully, things are going to turn around here soon. They slowly are, but we could wake up tomorrow and they could say, this and this is completely gone. Like all the mandates are gone. So we could wake up tomorrow and be a whole new world. You just never know. It's so crazy what we're going to be dealing with when you wake up. So I think that's part of the reason I just don't want to get out of bed in the morning. I don't want to deal with it. So anyway, so let me start out by saying I've lived in a couple of, well, probably 3 haunted houses throughout my life. There's a lot of people that have lived in haunted houses, and when it happens to you at the time, sometimes you just don't really pay attention. You just think nothing of it, or it's not scary enough to make you pay attention, I guess. I don't know. I lived in my grandmother's house after my mother put her in a nursing home because she had Alzheimer's. And she used to tell stories about people coming to her door, and these people she would let in, and they would be talking to her, and they were trying to take things from her. And we used to think it was just her Alzheimer's. We had no clue. So after me and my husband had moved in, this was back in the 90s when I was in my 20s. The neighbors, we found out from the neighbors that the people that lived there before my grandmother actually held seances in the house, and they would always hear them chanting, and they would see lit candles in the windows. So I was like, oh, great, just great. What portal did they not close? So I'll tell you about some of my experiences. A lot of the time it would happen when I was alone, when I was by myself, when my husband was out partying at bars or with his friends, so I would be home most of the time. I used to hear voices all the time when I was trying to sleep, and I would hear like a man and a woman's voice, and you couldn't make out what they were saying, but I could definitely hear people talking, almost like a radio on in another room. And of course, I think we had a radio in one other room, but I would get up and I would walk around the whole house, and I couldn't find anything on. So I was like, okay, I'm just hearing voices. So I would hear that. I would hear faucets turn on, like particularly in my kitchen, because you could hear it on the stainless steel sink. And I would go out there and everything was dry, like there was nothing going on. One time our stereo turned on by itself. That was pretty freaky for me. I was like, wow, okay, that just turned on by itself. I've never seen anything face to face. And there again, maybe I haven't. I just don't remember it. I don't know. Most of the ghosts I see are kind of in my astral travels when I'm dreaming. That's where I see them. I haven't seen one in person really. But anyway, there was a time we had a front bathroom, and I used to use the front bathroom instead of the master bathroom at night because I just didn't like our master bathroom for some reason. It just had a bad energy. So I would always go down the hall to the front bathroom to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. So one night we were sleeping, and about 2 o'clock in the morning, just this huge crash. And I was like, oh my God, what the heck was that? So I get up out of bed and I go to the front bathroom. The huge mirror on the wall had fallen off and had shattered in a million pieces. I was like, oh my gosh. If I had been sitting there doing my business when that fell off the wall, I could have been killed. I really could have, because the way it hit, I think it hit the countertop and the sink, and that's when it shattered. And if someone had been sitting there, like, they could have gotten badly cut by the mirror. So that was a big one. Then one night my husband was home and I was trying to sleep, and all of a sudden the bedroom door slams shut. Woke me up, and he comes running in and he's like, there's someone in the house. There's someone in the house. I'm like, what do you mean there's someone in the house? What do you mean? So he's like, I was sitting there on the couch watching TV, and out of the corner of my eye, at the time we had a roommate, but they were not home. So he said, out of the corner of my eye, I see Chris's keys come flying down the hallway, and it hit the bedroom door. That's when the door slammed. And so he's like, there's someone in the house. I got to get my gun. So he gets his gun and he goes through the whole house and looked outside, all around the house. There was nothing. That was probably the most devastating thing, I think, was both me and him experienced it. I would hear, when he was out and away from the house, I would hear his car pull into the garage. And I would sit there and wait for him to come in. 5-10 minutes. I'm like, okay, I better go check on him, see if he's passed out in the truck, in the garage. And I would go and I would look, and there was nothing. He hadn't come home. And then my animals started getting sick. And that's a big one when it starts to get bad, is when they start affecting your health or your animal's health. I had a cat that I loved, and he was the first cat that I had after when my husband was in the Navy. And this cat was only 5 years old, and he got sick on Halloween night. He started throwing up, and he was throwing up all night and just had foam. He was throwing up. So I took him into the vet the next morning, and they had him for about 3 days, and they told me his liver was failing and that there was nothing they could do. I was devastated. So I had to put him to sleep. That was rough. That was really rough for me. And then I had a female cat at home, and she started getting sick. And I got her medication from the vet, and thank God that medication helped her and she didn't get sick anymore. We had a husky before we moved out, and she would, huskies are hyper, they run all the time, and she was always up and running around. And we had the back door closed, but the sliding glass window was open, but the screen was closed. And she was running through the house one day, and all of a sudden I hear boom, and she smacked into the glass door. And I was like, that door was open. That door was not closed, because I knew she was going to be running around the house. So somehow the glass door got closed, and she smacked her poor face and got a huge owie on her face and turned into a hot spot. So just really weird things like that. And also in that house, my appendix almost burst. Like, I started having all the symptoms, but I never had a full fever. I was throwing up all night, and I had called my parents at the time, and they were like, you need to get to a hospital. That's probably your appendix or something. So by the time I got to the hospital and they did their check of everything, once they got me in, it had started to rupture. So yeah. And if anyone knows, if your appendix ruptures, it's like your gallbladder, you can die, because that's just poison throughout your system. So yeah, those are the things. I'm glad we sold the house when my mom left out of state and my grandmother passed away. So we sold it, but we had some really weird experiences in that house. And I really wonder sometimes if those people that bought it from us had experienced some stuff too. So something during those seances was not closed, and there was something bad in there, and it was getting worse. So it was a good thing we got out. Another thing is orbs. Orbs are real. I am telling you for a fact. I wish I could have pictures of what I've seen. I can't even find pictures of what I've seen, close to what I've seen. But after my mom passed away in 2000, it was probably a month or two after she passed away, and I was trying to sleep, and there again, it was in the middle of the night. So it was in the middle of the night, between 2 and 3, seems like. And a lot of people know that things tend to wake you up because they're trying to get your attention. So it stirs you awake. And I wake up, and of course, out the corner of my eye, and it's always out of the corner of your eye, I look over. At first, I thought the house behind us was on fire, because the light was coming through the blinds too, like it lit up the whole room. But it was a huge orb from the floor of my bedroom to the ceiling, was a huge amber colored orb with glowing blue in the middle. And it was just so beautiful. And I got up out of bed, and I walked past, and I went to the window, and I looked out the blinds, because I just wanted to make sure I wasn't seeing things. Like I said, I thought the house was on fire. So I look at the window, and because I was seeing, like, I thought was sirens, because I saw blue and red lights too out there. And like, I look through the blinds, and there's nothing there. Nothing. I was like, I wonder if that was my mom. She came to visit me. That is so cool. And a couple of years later, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I saw another orb in our hallway, and it was probably a little bit bigger than a soccer ball, and it was blue, just blue, glowing, floating there for just a couple seconds. So I've seen orbs. Yeah, they are real. I've also encountered elementals. Some people call them, you say, fairies, elementals. When I went to a SETI ranch. If you watch some of my other videos, I went to a SETI ranch for a conference, and we were camping, and the guy next to us was taking pictures at night in the fields, and he showed me what he captured, and sure the heck enough, they're fairies. You could see the wings, they were amber colored, and I'll kind of show you. I found a picture of what they looked like. So this is what they look like. Hopefully you can see that. So you could see like the legs and the little wings, and that's exactly what it looked like. And that was so incredible to see that, because I think that was the first time I actually saw one. And shortly after that, we were living in a townhouse, and my daughter was away for the weekend for her Girl Scout troops. And I woke up in the middle of the night because my cat was batting at something, playing with something. I'm like, look over, and there's a little blue light that's just kind of dancing back and forth, and she was trying to catch it. And your rational mind thinks, what the heck is this? Like, I don't understand what this is. And after it's over, then you're like, that was an elemental. That was a fairy. That was definitely something that you don't see all the time. So I had that instance. Living in the house we are now, I've seen blue lights in my garden. And then probably a few months ago, I woke up, something woke me up, and out of the corner of my eye, again, I see a little red and a little blue elemental. And I don't know why they're always red and blue. It makes me wonder why, like, policemen and airplanes, why they also use red and blue lights too. I don't know. I think there's a connection there somehow, but I don't know what it is yet. But yeah, I've seen elementals, and I've made little fairy houses before, so I call them in to hang around if they want. I've had lots of experiences with animals too. Like, animals always seem to come into our backyard. When we lived in Texas, we had animals in our backyard all the time. Nobody else around us seemed to have these animals except my backyard. We had baby bunnies. Again, after my mom passed away, I was going to let my dog outside, and I opened the door, and I kind of quickly closed it because I saw a baby falcon was sitting on the ledge of my deck, and I could literally reach out and touch it, and it was just so mesmerizing, and its big black eyes were just staring at me. Hi, Amber. So I sat there and I watched it for a long time till finally, like, my dog pushed the door open to get outside, and it flew away. And here, you've heard, if you've watched some of my other videos, like, I've had this big horned owl around our house. We've had falcons. I've had falcons land in my tree outside and catch doves out of their nest. So we've had falcons, have hawks. That's one thing. Like, when someone passes away too, like, watch the animals, see what hangs around you. Like, it could be a butterfly. Like, I've seen butterflies kind of flitting around me. Sometimes they'll land on you. Ladybugs, anything. And pay attention to how you feel when you see those animals, because whatever feeling you get, sometimes you'll get a feeling of someone that's passed. And sure enough, like, that's a sign, and they're trying to tell you hello. So I always have hawks flying above my car, in front of my car all the time. It's pretty cool because I love them. I love birds of prey. They're awesome. Let me check my notes here. Oh, okay. So, and then the other hauntings we've had. When we moved from Texas to Ephrata, Washington, after the big crash in 2008, we moved in 2009, and we stayed there for about a year. But apparently the house we were renting had a bunch of people that lived in it before that did not have good energies. Let's just say that. A lot of drug people, just bad people. And I was trying to go to sleep in the back bedroom one morning after my husband went to work, and all of a sudden, it was like someone kicked the bed frame. I mean, hard. They kicked it so hard you could hear the metal, and it shook the bed, and it like startled me awake. And I was like, what the heck was that? It scared me. That one scared me. And I left the bedroom and I went up to my daughter's room and slept with her for the rest of the morning. And then one night I was walking down the hall to the back bedroom, and we had 3 bedrooms. So we had a back bedroom and then a middle bedroom, and then my daughter's was up front. And I was walking down the hall and I saw a shadow run by me. It looked like a little kid, and run into the middle bedroom. And I asked my daughter, I was like, did you just run past me? Did you just run into the middle room? And she was like, no, Mom, I've been up here in my room the whole time. So I was like, oh Lord, then I just saw a shadow ghost. I just saw a ghost. Like, that's the closest to a face-to-face that I've seen with a ghost. The kids see ghosts too, because they're like animals. Kids and animals, because they're so innocent and they're fresh from the other side. Kids are, they see spirits all the time. And we put down one of our cats there, and she got too old and sick, poor girl. And so my daughter used to tell me, Mom, I saw Nikki. And I'd be like, you saw Nikki? And she's like, yeah. She was like really glowing blue. And she's like, I didn't see all of her, but I saw like the back portion of her, but it was her. So she saw things too there. And yeah, I think that house had a possession too, because my husband got possessed at times, and it would make us fight with each other. I mean, really bad. There was a time, when someone's not themselves, when you're looking them in the eye and it's not them. Like, they just give you this death stare. And I'm like, okay, that's not you. That is someone else trying to come through and get us to fight. And that's what they try and do. Bad spirits or demons will try to create fights with people to hurt. So that's what they want. Now, my husband was in a car accident when he was 23, and he almost died. He had fractured pelvis. He had punctured lungs. He had broken ribs, lacerated liver, punctured bladder, I think, and a really bad head contusion. And he shouldn't have lived. And the doctor actually told us that he would either be really sweet or he would be really mean. So I didn't get lucky with the sweet side. I got the mean one. It wasn't good. But he had plasma during that time in ICU. And they always say if you get organs, like donated organs, or you get blood transfused from someone who's donated it, their cellular memory stays in there. So you could pick up traits of that person. And before his accident, this was a person that didn't eat candy bars, didn't like sugar, didn't like ice cream, didn't like any of that stuff. And then after he got the plasma and after he got out of the hospital, oh my gosh, he started eating candy bars. He started eating ice cream, like anything sweet. I'm like, who is this person? And I think at times he had a walk-in because, like I said, he shouldn't have lived with his injuries. He really shouldn't have lived. I think the original soul left, and I think I got someone else because there's times where he just cannot control his temper, and it's I like to call him a draconian, and if I can deal with that, I can deal with some pretty mean beings. So anyway, I just thought I would throw that in there. I went to Santa Fe one time too, and we toured some ruins of a church, and I just felt really negative energy from that church area too. You know when you go into places, and if you're an intuitive or an empath, you can pick up those energies. So I've been a lot of places. I can be around people and I can tell their energy, and you can tell who's lying to you and who's genuine. So the more you awaken to, you'll be able to decipher who's lying to you and who's a good person and who's not. So I used to hear frequencies all the time, and I still do. When you hear the ringing in your ears, that literally like makes your head numb and you can't hear anything, you go deaf. Like that's a frequency too. There was one time my daughter and I were sitting in a parking lot, and I swear it's when this started, okay, I was in my 30s, and I swear it was like hearing a radio tuning itself. Like frequency. And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, what the heck was that? So if you hear things like a radio being tuned, your frequency is definitely changing. I used to hear my name being called. I would hear a deep man's voice, like calling my name. And I would wake up at like always 2 and 3 in the morning. And they would call out my name and it would wake me up. I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? One time I heard the name Ishlin, plain as day. And so that stayed in my head, and I tried to do some research on Ishlin. Like people have heard of Ishtar. So I looked up Ishlin. Ish is a form of Turkish or Sumerian. And so Ishlin is a Turkish name, which made a lot of sense to me because I have had astral travel, cellular memory dreams where I was in Turkey because I did research online, and I even saw it on like Ancient Alien shows when that first started. I was like, oh my God, that's where it's from. Because they have these little beehive type of buildings that people used to live in. I was like, that's from my traveling. That's from my dream travel. So Turkey definitely has a prominent place in my past lives somewhere. I would hear, I heard Alpha Centauri. That one woke me up too. I heard a voice say that plain as day, like my name. Ishlin, I think was my name. But I heard Alpha Centauri, and I thought, okay, maybe that's where I come from originally. I still don't know. I still don't know if that's true or not. I'm not completely woke up yet. Like none of us are completely woke up yet, like I said, or we would know everything. I hear doorbells ring all the time, and it's always in that 3 o'clock hour. Hear doorbells that'll wake me up out of sound sleep. I've heard my phone ring. I've heard text go off on my phone, and I'll look and there's nothing. So those are just some experiences that I've had paranormal things happening. So I know I'm not alone, but a lot of people don't talk about them because people think you're crazy, but you're not crazy if this is happening to you. It's our environment, you know. You just have to be aware of it. The last thing I want to go over was like I did almost die 3 times throughout my life so far. Besides my getting hit by a train when I was 17, I think it's some of my first videos. I did a video with my friend Carrie, and I explained how I got hit by a train when I was 17. Before that, when I was in high school, my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, was driving us to school in the morning, and our road, we were coming down and the highway was right in front of us, and we hit a patch of ice and we slid out right into the highway, and there was a semi truck just right there. And instead of braking, because thank God he didn't brake, or we would have gotten hit by that truck and probably killed. But he put his foot on the gas and we slid out further and we missed it. And I'm telling you, after that, we had to pull over to the side of the road because we were in such shock. We were in shock because we were just missed that truck missed us by a hair of just creaming us. And then, so that was 2. The third time was when we moved here. I took my daughter to a local beach along the river. And between somewhere at the end of June, before 4th of July, they would put a rope out so that you would know where the drop off was and you wouldn't go past that. But we went in June before they had put that rope out. And the beach was pretty busy, packed with people. And she was out in the water and there was a little boy playing with her. And all of a sudden I look up and the little boy's clinging onto her back and he's going under and his face is turning red. And I'm like, oh crap, like he's drowning. I was like, he's drowning. I'm like yelling, like, help. And nobody even bother. I swear I thought I was invisible. Okay. There's been so many times in my life where I am invisible to people. So either I'm vibrating on a different frequency and they just don't see me, or these are just people, not inhumans. I don't know. So I ran out in the water. My daughter at the time was overweight. She was over 200 pounds. Okay. I'm like 160 pounds. And this little boy, so he's clinging on her. I get out there and I'm up to my shoulders with water. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, I told my daughter, grab onto my shoulders, grab onto my back. So she grabs onto my back and she's like pulling me with her weight. And then I got this 50-pound kid on her. So I've got like 250 pounds that I'm trying to pull to safety. And I literally fell off the drop off. And for a second there, like all I could see was like water above my eyes. And at that moment, I was like, God, creator, please don't let me die. Please get me out of here to safety, please. And like my big toe literally caught the edge of that drop off. And somehow, by a miracle, I was able to pull those kids and myself up out of there, because that river is really dangerous because of the drop-offs. And then you would have these whirlpools that would suck you in and under. And I'm a pretty good swimmer, but I'm not a strong swimmer. And so, yeah, we could have died that day. And we got up to the beach and I was telling the mother, like, did you not even see that your kid was drowning out there? And she just went off. She said, he would have been okay. I could have gone out there and saved him. I'm sorry, but people don't understand that when you're drowning, you don't have time to yell out. You don't. You're under in a split second. You don't have time to yell for help. So she made me so mad. I want so mad. Like, how can this mother not even watch your kid? You don't even pay attention. You don't have to thank the person that saved your child's life. Like, it just was beyond me. So we sat out the rest of the day and we didn't stay too much longer and we went home. And I think after that we didn't go too much after that. But wow, yeah. So I've had lots of wild experiences in my life. So just want to see if anybody else had any weird stories. But anyway, I have a job interview tonight, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can get another video done this week. Might be next week. I don't know, because I don't know when I'll be. Hopefully I'll have a job, because I need to make money like everyone else and pay my bills until this fiasco of what we're going through is over. So anyway, thank you so much to all my subscribers. I love all of you. You're my soul family. Just hang in there. I know it's tough. It's tough. It is really tough right now because we are living in two separate worlds. And I think that's a part of the other reason I don't want to get out of bed sometimes is because I don't want to deal with the 3D, 4D anymore. I really don't. Like, I'm so focusing on 5D and where I want to be and how I want to be living my life that it's painful to be living in this 3D, 4D world that doesn't serve us anymore. So I know it's hard. And I've had my days where I've been completely depressed, and I just have to think that I'm going to have my depressed days when other people are going to hold the light for us. And when those people are depressed, I'm going to hold the light for you. So we're all very, very special. And I just wanted to let you all know that you are awesome, awesome humans. And we're going to get through this, okay? It's coming to an end really quickly. And I love all of you. Thank you for subscribing. If you like this, share with people, and if you want to donate, you can. That'd be great, but you don't have to. I love you all. Thank you so much. And we will see you next time. Bye.